All right, let's talk about something that can be a huge source of stress for so many of us parents, feeding our kids. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by picky eating, or you're just worried that your child isn't getting what they need, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sound familiar? Maybe you're worried about their growth, or maybe every single dinner feels like you're trying to negotiate a peace treaty with a tiny diplomat who's decided they only eat, well, beige food. It's so frustrating, and it can leave you feeling completely wiped out.
And listen, the most important thing I want you to hear right now is this. You are so not alone in this. These kinds of challenges are incredibly common for families just about everywhere. Okay, so how do we get out of this stressful cycle and into a place of support? Well, the way forward is all about getting practical help, not more pressure. And a really great path to get there is through something called nutrition counseling. Now, I know that might sound a little intense, right? But it's really not. It's just about getting some personalized, professional advice to make life easier and healthier for your whole family. So what is it exactly? Well, look at the key words here: practical and supportive. That's what's so important. This isn't about someone handing you a bunch of strict, impossible rules. Nope. It's a team effort. An expert looks at your unique situation, your kid's health, your family's daily life, and helps you build a plan that you can actually stick to.
And what's covered? Gosh, pretty much everything. From the very beginning with breastfeeding or starting solids, to managing that classic picky eating phase, all the way to creating balanced meals for older kids or even dealing with serious food allergies. The point is, the guidance is totally tailored to whatever stage you're in.
Okay, so when should you maybe think about talking to an expert? Let's walk through a few common signs. And hey, this isn't a quiz or a test. It's just a way to see if some of these things ring a bell for you. So, as we look at these common concerns, just ask yourself, does any of this sound familiar? So you might see things on this list like slow weight gain or constant tummy aches, which are obviously big flags. But here's the thing I really want to point out. It could be that very last point. Maybe you just feel unsure. You're worried about portion sizes, or you're just not confident in your meal planning. And you know what? That feeling right there is a perfectly good reason to get some clarity and peace of mind. All right, so if you do decide to get help, what does it actually look like? What happens in a session? Let's pull back the curtain on the whole process, because it's probably a lot more straightforward and supportive than you think. It's actually a really clear, logical flow. First, you'll look at the data, the history, the growth charts.
Then, it's all about a real conversation, talking about your family's routines and what's actually happening day to day. From there, you get a personalized plan with tips that you can actually use, not just theories. And the best part? There's follow-up. It's not a one-and-done thing. You'll check in to see what's working and tweak things as you go.
Okay, but a big question a lot of parents have is this. Is this just for, serious health problems? Do we really need to have a huge issue to reach out for help?
And the answer is a big, resounding no. Seriously. Think of it less like an emergency room visit and more like a child checkup for your family's eating habits. It's so valuable for just getting on the right track and building those healthy habits from the get-go before little worries turn into big struggles.
Okay, another big fear, right? Are they just going to hand me some crazy super strict meal plan that would be totally impossible for a busy family whose toddler has just decided that all food must be orange this week?
Nope, not at all. The entire goal is flexible guidance that actually fits into your real life. Because let's be honest, rigid rules just set you up for failure and more stress. The advice is always tailored to be practical and sustainable for your family.
And now, for the million-dollar question, the one so many of us deal with. Can counseling really help with my super-duper picky eater? Yes, 1,000 times yes. And look at those key words. Gentle strategies and without forcing. This is all about ending the mealtime battles for good. It's not about pressure. It's about using positive techniques to slowly and gently expand their world of food, not trying to force it on them. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing is about so much more than just what's on the plate, right? It's about building healthier habits for the entire family and completely changing the vibe at your dinner table. And the positive outcomes, they're huge. I mean, of course you want your child to grow well and build strong habits, but just as important, you want them to actually enjoy food without all the stress. And for you, the parents, it's about getting that reassurance, that confidence back. It's about making mealtimes less stressful for everyone. So, The big takeaway here is that you really don't have to figure all this out on your own. There's support out there to help your family go from mealtime stress to feeling confident and healthy. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What if your next family dinner wasn't a battle, but was actually a happy, connecting moment? Because that right there is the real goal.